I'm Dale Archdekin. I'm the founder of Smart Sales Coaching. For those of you who don't know who I am, long-term partner and trainer and specialist in lead conversion, scripting, dialogue, all of that sort of stuff. So by the end of today's webinar, you're going to know the best way to approach any kind of lead, why most real estate scripts are wrong, the stuff that they give you, your broker gives you, a lot of what some gurus out there sell and tell you to do. And I'm going to show you why it's wrong and you should stop doing it because it's hurting your results. It's also hurting your confidence and causing you not to talk to enough leads or actually maybe not make your calls or not reach out to people. But it's certainly, if you're doing what some of those trainers are teaching you, it's causing you to get bad results. And I want you to get more juice for every squeeze that you make. And if you're actually going to be working leads, doing outreach, talking to people, I want you to get as many good results as you possibly can. Also, you're going to know why you're struggling to get more hot leads and what to do about it. Okay, I'm curious. Chat in for me. Are you tired of being great at selling homes but not having enough clients to help buy or sell? Chat in yes, if that applies to you. Are you tired of struggling to find enough real buyer and seller leads who will answer or talk to you about their plans? Emily, drop that note taker out of here, please. These note takers are annoying. Are you tired of being overwhelmed with choices on how to actually get more appointments and contracts? Chat in yes if that's you. Well, you're not alone. I've been there. I started as an agent back in 2008 with no sphere of influence, no past clients, and no money to buy leads. I was kind of naive. So yes, it was flipping hard. I've been there. I did it for years. But what I did is I worked on my sales skills. I worked on my ability to talk to strangers, to be able to book appointments, build rapport, get in front of them to be able to ask them to buy or sell real estate with me. And I ended up, over time, I mastered my sales skills to be able to do that. And I got to the point where I could consistently take between 3 to 5 listings per month from cold outbound prospecting. And here's what I can tell you about cold outbound prospecting. Yes, it sucks. It still sucks. I don't like doing it. I do as little of it as I possibly can now. But I have that privilege because I also then went on to master my marketing and advertising skills so that I could actually generate warm and hot leads, which I don't know about you, but I really prefer working with them instead of doing cold outbound. After that, I partnered with another agent and leveraged those sales, marketing, and advertising skills to scale our real estate team to over 650 transactions per year and over 4 million in GCI. For the last 12 years, my strategies around sales, marketing, and advertising have helped committed agents produce 60 plus transactions per year and teams to hit up to 3,000 plus transactions per year. Here's what I can tell you after all of that. Success in our business requires a mix of advertising, marketing, and sales skills. Selling houses is not about selling houses. I'm sorry to tell you that. You've probably started feeling that or thinking that. It's like, I'm a really great agent. Why can't I just have enough people to sell houses to? And I believe you. I know this. I've experienced it, and I know lots of agents just like you. The frustration is that what it really comes down to is your advertising, marketing, and sales skills, frankly. If you can't find enough people to work with you, then you just can't do enough business. That's the truth about it. So no matter how good you are at selling real estate, no matter how good you are at the process of helping a person buy or sell real estate, it doesn't matter if you can't get enough of them to work with you. That's the sad reality of our business. And you will find the success that you're looking for once you unlock all 3 of these skills for yourself. I promise you. It's happened for me. It's happened for my students. It can happen for you too. I almost always suggest that agents start with sales skills, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. So out of the 3, advertising, marketing, and sales, I started with sales skill because I didn't have any money and I didn't have a group of people and frankly, I didn't have any advertising or marketing skill to fall back on. And usually the reason that I suggest that agents start there is for this reason. One, advertising is really expensive. It has a very expensive learning curve to it. You literally have to spend money to learn how to build advertising skill. And a lot of us don't have a lot of money to invest in learning advertising. Usually you want to learn advertising after you've mastered sales and mastered marketing. Then you have the money that you can invest in the advertising part of it. Uh, Learning marketing first. So marketing's great. The only problem is that it takes a long time. It's an incubation type of thing. So not only do you have to learn the skill set of marketing, but then you need to be able to get enough people in front of you that you can then nurture over time with your marketing skills to then talk to them about sales and close deals with them. Versus the reason I suggest a lot of agents start improving their sales skills right away as soon as they can and always is because for sales skills, we're already having conversations and interactions with people on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, right? We're already doing it. A lot of us already have leads. We already have some kind of sphere. We already have some kind of past clients. And so improving sales skills, even a little bit, has an immediate impact on your results. So that's usually, and it's free. It can be free. Um, so that's why I say usually starting with sales skills is the best place to start. Improve your sales skills, and magically the leads that you have right now will start to improve. Get better at sales skills, get more leads, improve those leads, have better conversations because you're doing a better job, convert more of them because you're doing a better job from the sales perspective, then start learning marketing so that you can support the leads you already have, that you're already having sales conversations with. You can nurture them better, and you can start to attract new ones to come in that can be nurtured over time that you can then have those better sales skills with. Then when all of that is running, you start throwing money into advertising, buying leads, running ads, stuff like that. So that's just my general approach and suggestion that I make for all agents. Now, around sales skills. So obviously, having the track record that I have in terms of the amount of sales and sales management and sales training that I've done, I've created a complete system that I call the unscripted system. The reason that I call it unscripted is because when my partners and I were building those teams, I was hiring not only agents, but also inside salespeople and paying them to come in and work our leads. And the problem is that when you're paying somebody a base salary to come and work your average mix of real estate leads, you need them to ramp their skills really fast. You need them to be able to very quickly, like in the first week, these new ISAs who had no real estate experience are calling our leads. They're having conversations with them. By week 2, they should be at least booking shitty appointments because you have to book shitty appointments before you can book good appointments. So these people are booking appointments by week 2. What I needed was a training system that worked really fast. And so the best way that I found to train salespeople is say, okay, what do really experienced salespeople like me, how do we think in any given situation? How do we understand where we're at in the conversation, what's going on in the conversation, how the prospect is thinking, and react in real time? You can't write scripts for that kind of stuff. That's why it's unscripted. So in order for me to teach these ISAs to ramp their skill set really fast, I took these concepts and I said, okay, how's the prospect thinking? What are the situations that we get into? And I taught them instead not what to say, but how to think. And that is the key to being able to ramp your skills really fast. It's like that old adage, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, you'll feed him for a lifetime, right? So basically, teaching salespeople how to think is the unlock for them to be able to perform much better in whatever conversation they're going to get into out there, whatever scenario, whatever sideways thing goes on that nobody can write a script for. So the unscripted sales system covers these areas. It covers messaging that actually gets leads to respond, intros that keep them on the phone. That's what we're here for today. Discovery and rapport questions that keep them talking, because these are actually tools that we use. An objection process that melts resistance when it can. I'd be lying if I said that I can teach you to overcome any objection at any time. What I can teach you is I can teach you an airtight process for how to approach objections to where you never get, well, usually don't get rattled. rarely get rattled. And you'll always know how to conduct yourself, even when they start saying, no, not you, not with you, not at this time, right? A compelling value proposition. Think how to answer the question, why should I buy or sell with you? A process that books appointments early. That's the key. 70% of people work with the first agent they meet with. You need to be meeting with people before they're ready. We teach you how to do that. A process that eases contract presentations. It doesn't have to be that hard. And a process to present and defend your commission, and a process to actually keep the deal together. So this is the full unscripted sales system. Successful agents invest up to $6,000 to get certified in this sales conversion system. Today, I'm going to be teaching you this piece, which is intros to, one, help you get them to stay on the phone with you, right? Stay in a conversation. Two, like, it doesn't have to just be on the phone. You can imagine that you're conducting an open house, you're knocking on doors, you're at a cocktail party where somebody asks you what you do for a living, and you can see on their face how their mood changes as soon as you say you sell real estate. How to keep a lead or prospect engaged in the conversation is what I'm going to be teaching you today. Now, if you want to learn the full system, we occasionally host a live unscripted masterclass where I teach the complete system for a whole lot less than $6,000. And I'm just going to tell you when the next one is. Then I'll get to teaching you free stuff. Then at the end, I'm going to remind you again, so that if you like the free stuff, you should come to the masterclass. If that's fair enough, chat in fair enough. Or just yes will suffice. How many people do we have on? Okay, good. So here's when the next masterclass is, where I cover all the stuff that I just showed you and how to apply it to different lead sources. It's March 10th and 11th. It's $197 per person. If you want to buy the recordings, it's another $97. Just scan the QR code or go to smartsalescoaching.com/masterclass. So it's live on Zoom. I'll be there with you teaching this, and it'll be a meeting. So if you have questions or feedback, if you want to interact with me, we can do that. It won't be like this where you're behind the glass. All right. I will bring this up back at the end again, so don't worry about that. But if you want, you can go check out the landing page now. I just want to make you aware of what's coming up and how you can get access to it in case you don't stick around the whole time right now. All right, so we recently worked with a real estate lead cold calling company to improve their results. So the reason I'm talking about intros, an ISA, done for you ISA company reached out to me. Now, I don't promote these things. I've never really found one that can consistently produce profitable results for a majority of their clients. But they frequently reach out to me because I'm kind of the master of lead conversion. And they said, hey, can you help me? So I'm always interested in helping people. So I said yes, and I worked with their company. What we worked on was, first, I changed their intro script. I just changed what their people said. I changed their initial objection response, and then I changed how their ISAs tee up the live transfer process. For those of you who aren't exactly sure what I'm talking about. So there are third-party companies who will call your real estate leads for you. They'll try to get them on the phone, have a conversation with them, and then basically get them to agree to talk to you about their buying or selling needs or whatever it may be. So you pay the company, they call through your leads, they find some opportunities and hopefully turn them into a live conversation with you. And ISA means inside sales agent. So this company I worked with is doing this for clients. They're calling these real estate leads, and they were struggling with their results. So I came along and made these changes for them. And I'm going to show you what the changes caused for them. So just working on their introductory script, what those ISAs said when somebody answered that phone. When they first engaged me, I said, okay, well, let's take a measurement of how many minute plus conversation your scripting is able to get. Meaning somebody answers that phone, how many of them will have a minute plus conversation? That's the first good measurement of what you're doing and whether it works. So they said, okay, over the last 13,325 people who answered the phone, 3.4% of them went to a minute plus, right? And as soon as I changed the words that their ISAs said, how they started that conversation, it immediately tripled the number of people who were willing to have a minute plus conversation, 3 times. In the next 1,807 conversations they had, 15.9%, more than a 3x increase. That means that using their script, on average, they were only able to get about 6-minute plus conversations per day across their ISA team. Once I changed just the words they said up front, not changing the leads, not changing the process at all, it went to 21-minute plus conversations per day. I want you to chat in for me, yes or no. If you could get 3 times the number of people to talk to you and stay on the phone with you, can you sell more houses? Yes or no? Yes. And the shocking thing is, all I changed was their words and how they did it. Okay. When I changed their live transfer process, so they get a minute plus conversation, they're having more discovery, building some rapport, and then they say, okay, great. Well, Mr., Mrs., whoever, uh, would you like to speak to my agent partner about buying or about selling? That's not the script they use. I'm just giving you the scenario. Whatever process, what they were saying prior to me working with them, we took a measurement of that. And in the prior 20 days to me working with them, they had gotten 24 of those people, those leads who agreed to have a conversation with an agent and made the connection. That's about 1.2 per day. After I changed their process, just in the first 7 days after, they got 27 of those. That's a 3 times increase once again from people who are willing to have a who are in a conversation, willing to stay in that conversation with an actual licensed agent. If you can get more people to have a conversation about buying and selling with you, can you sell more houses? Yes or no? Chat it in. The answer is yes, right? Exactly. So that took them from 1.2 live transfers per day to 3.8 live transfers per day. That's a huge increase. Before I get into how to do that or how you can get better results or the way what you should and shouldn't say, I first want to talk about why leads resist you. This is something that not a lot of salespeople actually think about. And it's one of the core foundational concepts to the unscripted system. And it's a big part of what makes us so successful with what we do and makes our clients successful. I want to ask you this, chat in for me. What do you hate about salespeople? Chat it in. What do you hate about salespeople? Pushy. What else? What do you hate? Don't listen, talk too fast, fake, relentless. Yeah. Okay. So obviously we've got some issues with salespeople. We all do as consumers. So let me put you into this scenario then. Let's say that it's a warm summer day and you're waiting to pick up your dry cleaning or get your kid from ballet or whatever, right? You've got some time to kill. Next door, as you're sitting there waiting next door, there's this big, beautiful, shiny car dealership out there with all these nice cars. And it's a nice warm summer day. So you're just going to go wander around and take a look at some of these cars. Now, you know that you don't have a budget to buy a car today. You don't have a desire to buy a car today. You don't even need a new car, right? But you're going to go walk around anyway and kind of, deal with any salespeople that pop up. As you're walking around looking at these cars, you see this guy. This is Jeff. Jeff sells cars. Jeff starts to approach you. Chat in for me. What is Jeff's purpose? What is Jeff's purpose? Chat it in. What's Jeff's purpose? Keep going. Chat it in. I love to see the answers. All right, so I can see some of you are still thinking like salespeople. Jeff should be to build a relationship. But here's the thing. If you said to sell you a car, you are successful in getting into the mindset of a consumer. When you say to sell a car, what have you done with Jeff? If you say, yep, Jeff's a sales guy, Jeff's purpose is to sell me a car, we have reduced Jeff down to a singular concept, one idea, right? This, for those of you that did not, whoever said build a relationship, qualify the lead, yada, yada, you're thinking like a salesperson. You're not thinking like a consumer. If you said his purpose is to sell me a car, his purpose is to make a commission, you're thinking like a consumer. Good job. I'm trying to put you into the mindset of a consumer. Do you know who the only person who ever forgets that you're a salesperson is? Chat it in. Who's the only person who ever forgets you're a salesperson? You. You're the only person who forgets that. The consumers never forget that. The consumer always knows that you're a salesperson. The consumer always reduces you down to this one idea. This is an important concept for you to understand. The importance of it is that if you remember it and you don't forget it, it can help you change the way that you approach consumers, the way that you interact with them. Because if you know that you're being viewed through that filter, then you can change what you say and how you say it, so that in a lot of cases, you're not trying to hide the fact that you're a salesperson. What you're just trying to do is you're trying to take down as much resistance as you can, or you're accepting the resistance and not doing anything to make it worse, if that makes sense. So from the consumer's perspective, salespeople represent only one thing. We salespeople to a consumer represent being ready to make a decision or take an action, meaning that if a consumer is not ready to make a decision or take an action, then we should be avoided, right? Then there is no use for us. There's generally no purpose for us. Nobody wants to talk to a salesperson before they're ready to buy or sell, or unless they have important questions they can't otherwise find an answer for. This is an important thing to understand. Uh, and, or Dale, if no one wants to talk to me, what am I supposed to do? Is anybody thinking that? Anybody have that question? I'm going to help you with that. A lot of agents struggle with how to initially engage a lead and how to keep them talking. This is one of the big issues that pops up around call reluctance and sort of avoidance of lead generation is, well, I don't know what to say to these people. I don't know how to interact with them. I don't even know how to start the conversation. So a lot of times that's the first place that we start, because it's the gatekeeper for you to actually get into action. And the first 7 to 10 seconds of your sales conversation with a stranger or cold lead controls 80% of your results. Because again, none of us wants to talk to a salesperson before we're ready to. So let's first define leads, because there's different categories, right? So I put them into these categories for you. So hot leads, generally they've agreed to or asked for your conversation or recently taken an action that intentionally triggered an interaction with you, meaning they knew what was going to happen by taking that action. They intended for that to happen, or we made it clear to them that it would happen if they took this action. Or they have high know, like, and trust, and they have a need or want for service. This is what I would call a hot lead. Okay. Now, a warm lead has a good degree of know, like, and trust, varying amounts of those, with you, or they took an action in the near past and they're very likely to remember it. The key term here is likely to remember it. And I'm going to point out to you why that's important. And then cold, they've never engaged with you, or they have no like, and trust. They don't know who you are. They don't have any bond with you. They don't trust you, or whatever action they took was a long time ago and they're not likely to remember it, or it was insignificant and they're not likely to remember it. An example here would be old leads in the system, right? A Zillow lead that's 6 months old, somebody who registered on your website 30 days ago. They don't remember any of that stuff. They don't know who you are. They don't know who your brokerage is. So a lot of agents and a lot of you guys work a lot of these kind of cold leads. Obviously, we want to be working hot leads. Warm leads, we get some of those, right? They happen from time to time, but in a lot of cases, you guys are working pretty cold stuff. And here's a big distinction. Even with somebody who initially was hot, after a certain period of time, they go to warm and then they go to cold. Your warm leads, if they don't initially remember who you are when you first reach out to them, they act like cold leads, if that makes sense. Meaning that even though they took an action, if they don't immediately remember what they did and remember who they are, you are, and access whatever know, like, or trust they had previously, if they don't immediately access that stuff, they're basically the same as a cold lead to you, which means that in most cases, you're talking to cold leads because either it's a cold lead, which truly is, or it's a warm lead who hasn't yet recalled you or how much they know, like, or trust you. Hopefully, all that makes sense. If that makes sense, chatting yes. Okay, good. Now, from the consumer's perspective, bad salespeople, I want you to keep this in mind. Watch this, and then I'm going to show you what bad scripting looks like, and you're going to see it echoed from what bad and good salespeople are. Bad salespeople pressure us into actions or decisions, don't care about our needs or wants, will exaggerate, falsify, or even straight out lie to get what they want, talk over us, disregard us, don't listen to us, can't be trusted, are fake and annoying at best, should be avoided at all costs, and push because they want something from us. Versus good salespeople who do take no for an answer, demonstrate true care and concern, support our best interests, don't waste our time, which is a key for intro scripting, are prepared and professional, are real people too, just like us. Don't do any of the things that bad salespeople do, and they push because they care. All right, so this is good salespeople. Now, I'm going to show you bad introductions. And what I'm going to be showing you are either things that you do because you don't know any better because you haven't had professional sales training, or I'm literally also going to be showing a few things that some of the gurus in our industry and outside of our industry are teaching you to do. And I'm going to explain to you why they're bad. Okay? And just keep in mind, I have 30 years of sales experience. I started cold outbound prospecting in high school, selling credit card insurance and magazine subscriptions. I've sold mortgages, I've sold real estate, I've sold all sorts of stuff to all sorts of people. And so trust me when I say, even if your favorite YouTuber is telling you to say this stuff, I'm going to explain to you why it doesn't make sense. Okay, so bad introductions. Now, for context, we're talking to warm and cold leads. Just remember what the classification for warm and cold is. And I want you to understand that we're operating from this context. These people don't know who you are. They don't want anything from you, and they don't want to talk to a salesperson, right? That's generally accepted. Let me ask you, in your day-to-day life as a consumer, do you ever want to talk to a salesperson before you're ready to buy something, or before you have questions that you just really need them to answer? Yes or no? Nobody on this planet does, okay? So let's just operate from that understanding. So bad entries for these people under these premises would be, hi, is this name, or I'm looking for name, or is name there? Let me ask you a question. You're going to chat this in for me. In the year 2026, who calls your phone and doesn't know whether it's you or not who answers? Chat it in. Yes, they do, Jessica. Who calls your phone and doesn't yet know whether it's you? Keep going. Chat it in. Come on. We get the calls all the time. Salespeople. 99% of the people who call your phone, if they don't know who you are, they are salespeople, right? So from the very opening line, when you're asking if it's them or you're using their name, Sarah, is Sarah there? I'm looking for Sarah. You're immediately telling this person you are most likely a what? Chat it in. You're most likely a what? A salesperson. One more time. Does anybody want to talk to a salesperson, a strange, cold salesperson out of the blue? Yes or no? No. So why the hell would you immediately tell them that I'm a salesperson? Terrible approach. Okay. Now, here's the next bad one. How's your day? Hi, Jeff. How's your day going? What do you want to know as soon as that person gets on the phone and says, hey, Jeff, how's your day going? You probably have a few questions in your mind, right? Goodbye. That's funny. Here's another terrible one. Before you hang up. Hey, Jeff, before you hang up. If somebody says before you hang up, it probably means that most other people have done what? Chat in for me. Most other people have done what? Have hung up. If I'm a consumer and I don't want to talk to salespeople, I don't recognize the number, I don't recognize you, you don't know who I am, and then you say before you hang up, I should probably hang up, just like all those other people have, right? Or at least you're warning me this is probably going to be a sales pitch. Here's another bad one. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions? Here's my issue. When we call a cold lead or a warm or cold lead, people who aren't waiting to talk to us, we've already interrupted them, right? So you can either ask me what you want to know, or you can ask me a stupid question like, can I ask you a question? Here's my point. Remember, good salespeople don't waste our time. If you've already interrupted me, asking me if you can ask me a question just wastes more of my time, because now it's going to be at least two questions where it could have just been one. Interrupt me. Ask me what you want to know. Does that make sense, everybody? Chat in for me if this is making sense. Good. Here's another one. Would you hate me if I told you this was a cold call? I can't think of a more stupid thing to say to a strange consumer as a salesperson. Probably one of the dumbest scripts I've ever heard. Would you hate me if I told you this was a cold call? Okay. I'm not, I mean, usually the answer you get is yes and a hang up because it's stupid. You've wasted my time and then you've said some stupid pickup line like, would you hate me if I told you this was a cold call? It's aggravating, okay? And I hope that you understand when I say wasted my time, good salespeople don't waste our time, right? Everybody? So let me show you what to do instead. Wait, I have a question. Have any of you paid for training ever that taught you to do these things? Chat in me if you've paid for training that taught you to do this stuff. Or even if you haven't paid for it, have you seen trainers teaching this stuff? Okay. I see. I mean, I study this stuff all the time, so I see it a lot. Drives me bananas. All right. Now we understand why that stuff is not good. Oh, Jessica just paid for unscripted. Great, Jessica. I'm glad that you paid for the unscripted. Jessica, if you see other trainers out there, you're going to see crap like this. If you're not interested, you can hang up now. Click. Terrible. Of course they're not interested. They're cold, right? They don't want anything. All right. So here's bad questions for cold, warm and cold leads. I want to make this distinction. These are the entries. Like this is how you enter into a conversation with a warm or cold. And generally in an intro script, what we have are kind of the how I get into it. And then usually you're going to be asking them some kind of question. And that question needs to direct the conversation. And this is all what I would consider within your introduction. So those are the entries. Now we go to the questions that you ask to direct them. These are bad questions for warm or cold leads. Now remember, warm or cold leads are people that are not trying to get something from us. They haven't recently taken an action. How can I help you? Bad question for a cold lead or even a warm lead. How's your search going? Are there any questions I can answer for you? Are you seeing anything you like? Now, note, these are good questions for hot leads. Good questions for hot leads, because hot leads are the ones who want something. They've taken an action. They're expecting an interaction with us. They're looking for an interaction with us. Those questions are good for them because if you think about it psychologically, they want something, and all you're saying is, great, cool, show me how this should start. Show me which direction you want this to go so that it's essentially like, you're going to teach me how to sell you, and I'm going to let you start the sales process first because you want something. For the other people, these are very weak questions. It's a complete waste of time, especially like, let's talk about cold leads. If you're going to call up a registration on your website who just basically traded their information to look at pretty houses, and you call them up and say, are there any questions I can answer for you? That's going to be a very quick end to your conversation. Don't use these for them because they're weak customer service oriented questions in that regard. Instead, when you're talking to cold or warm leads, you have to direct the conversation with a more direct question. And I'm going to show you examples, but it would be like, are you planning on buying a home? Are you accepting offers on your home? Would you be interested in a written offer on your property? Are you accepting cash offers on your home? Those are direct questions, if that makes sense. These are indirect, and this gives away the power to the lead to direct, which is totally fine if they're hot. If they're not hot, you want to direct the conversation with your questions. All right, so let's talk about good introductions and how we structure them. And what I'm going to be showing you is templates for how to structure your own introductions. Not necessarily, Dale, tell me what to say, because, what you're going to say varies from what another salesperson's going to say. Your leads vary from their leads. Your marketing, your sales, and advertising vary across people. So really teaching you how to think is the best place to go. And I'm going to show you what these templates look like. Now in the masterclass, what we end up doing is having you write out your own scripting so that by the end of the masterclass, you end up with your own sort of workbook of how you would say things, if that makes sense. But let me show you the templates. So good introductions. From the consumer's perspective, this is what we all want to know when somebody calls us or first contacts us. Every lead wants to know, who are you? Why are you calling or contacting me? What do you want? These are the 3 key questions you have to answer in your scripting. Typically, who are you? Why are you calling? What do you want? And then a deeper response that happens with everybody is, should I engage you at all? Should I trust you or not? What will I gain from giving you information? So you can see down here, should I trust you? Should I engage with you? What am I going to get out of this? This down here tells you why that, like, can I ask you a question is a waste of time. The don't hang up or before you hang up. It's like, I'm not going to trust you out of the gate when you're a complete stranger and you immediately tell me that most people hang up on you. Like, that's a red flag already, if that makes sense. Okay. So best practices for getting into a conversation with most prospects and leads is you're going to match their first word. Whatever word they say, you're going to say it back to them because it's cheap and it's easy and it doesn't break rapport for no good reason. You're going to tell them, you're going to know who they are always. Whoever answers that phone is the right person. Whoever answers that phone is the person who registered on your site, the person who filled out the property request, the person who owns that FSBO or expired listing. It's them. And if it's not, they'll tell you that it's not. I promise you. When you know who they are, you go in assumptively. Hi, Maria. Hello, Saul. Hey, Timothy, right? It shows I know who you are, because who are the people that call and don't know who you are? Salespeople. So very first thing, I'm going to go in assumptively and I'm going to know who you are because it puts me in a position of power. Versus a powerless position sounds like, oh, hi, is this Maria? Hi, I'm looking for Saul. You're like, well, that's a salesperson automatically, and it puts me into an inferior position. So know who they are always, go in assumptively. If you feel like you have a gender mismatch, like you think it's a man's name and it sounds like a woman answered the phone, just omit the name, but it's still the right person. Just get rid of the name. They took the action. They requested the info. Um, if you can't pronounce the name, if you don't feel comfortable pronouncing the name, omit the name. Just go in like it is them. So don't ask with your words and don't ask with your tone. Tell them who you are. That there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, don't try to hide it. No salutation. Go straight to the three answers they want. Everybody wants these three answers. Who are you? Why are you calling me? What do you want? As quickly as you can give it to them. That's why we get rid of the salutation. The how are you? How's your day? How's it going? Use that for your hot people. Use it for your high, know, like, and trust. Use it for your past client. Use it for your sphere. It's normal speech pattern. That's cool. For strangers, for the warm or cold leads, get rid of it. It's unnecessary and it wastes extra time because all they want to know are these three things. Who are you? Why are you calling? What do you want? Now, you're going to ask them an action question. This is for warm and cold, right? Action question. Are you buying? Are you selling? Then play to their likely objection. Or are you just window shopping? Or have you taken it off the market permanently? Why, everybody chat in for me, why would I play to their likely objection? Why would I give them an objection to give back to me? Chat it in. Chat it in. Why would I play to their likely objection? Build rapport, diffuse, confirmation. It's more about diffusing. Okay. Who was that? Jill had the right answer. It's more about diffusing. Two reasons. When a strange salesperson calls you out of the blue, you usually want to say what to them? You usually want to say some version of no, or not yet, or not with you, correct? That's reason one. Reason two, remember what I said good salespeople do? Good salespeople take no for an answer, right? So right up front, I'm showing you I'm a different type of salesperson, and I'm letting you get rid of that no that you have in your pocket for me. Hey, hey, do you want to take this action, or would you like to tell me no? Let's just go ahead and get that no out of your pocket. Let's get rid of it, right? Okay, good. You said no. You're just window shopping. You've taken it off permanently. Awesome. Now I can have a conversation with you. And what you'll find is it will buy you more time that they're willing to talk to you because you let them give you the no. I think that that's what some of that crappy scripting is trying to do, where they enter by saying, if you're not interested, you can just hang up. But they're just using it in the wrong spot, right? They're using it in not a logical place to use it. So if you think about it this way, when I get into most conversations with prospects or leads, I'm giving them what they want up front. Hey, you probably want to know who I am. You probably want to know why I'm calling, and you probably want to know what I want from you. So I give them all three of those things. And then I say, or would you just like to say no to me? We get that no out of the way that's relevant to them. And then we can continue having a conversation. If that makes sense, say yes in the chat. Good. Let me ask you, just this much, does it make it easier for you to approach the leads that you have in your system right now? Does this give you some more confidence? Good. Okay, so moving on. So we have these concepts, these principles, right? Now here's some script structures I'm going to show you. So for inbound or hot leads, right? They want something from you, they've inquired. Here's how you go about writing your own script. I know who you are. Here's who I am. Tell me how I can help you or what you want from me, right? What can I do for you? How can I help you? For showing or info requests on a house. You know, they inquired on something, they sent in an email, they've called in, whatever it may be. I know who you are. Here's who I am. When would you like to see the property? That's it, right? Notice I didn't ask, do you have questions about it? Normally, if I have a showing or info request coming in on a property, I don't want to ask if they have questions. I don't want to get stuck answering questions about the property. Most people, 80 to 90% of the time, they just want to go see the house. Book the appointment with them. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't bring in questions. Even sometimes by you asking them, hey, do you have any questions about the property or would you like to go see it? Just by introducing the idea of questions, some people are like, oh, maybe I should have questions about it. What question can I ask you? And it just muddies the water. Just go straight to property, right? When would you like to go see it? Kicker to this one. When they give you the time or times, do not say, I'm going to see if I can schedule it. Do not say, I'm going to check with the listing agent. You're just going to say, great, let me see if that works for the sellers. Okay? Outbound or cold? I know who you are. Here's who I am. Here's what you did to cause me to call or contact you. This is an important one because when you're calling cold, you definitely want to give a reason. And usually if you can make that reason theirs, right? They caused it, or give them ownership of the reason that you're calling, it also kind of gets them on the hook a little more. Here's what you did to cause me to call or contact you. Here's the specific action I want to know if you're going to take. Or you could choose this objection you're likely to give me anyway. That's what you just saw me show you. So for instance, let's say that it's a website lead, right? Hi, Jason. This is Dale with Amazing Real Estate. It looks like you registered on my website to look at homes for sale. I just wanted to see if you're planning on buying in the next few months or if you're just window shopping at this point. That follows this pattern, right? I know who you are. Here's who I am. This is the action that you took that's causing me to reach out to you. This is the action-oriented question I have for you, what I want to know. Here's the likely objection you'll probably give me that I'm going to let you give back to me. Okay. Old and cold. I know who you are. Here's who I am. Here's what you did to cause me to call or contact you. Here's why you don't remember. It was a long time ago, right? A lot, several months ago, a year or two ago. Here's the specific action I want to know if you're going to take, or you could choose this objection you're likely to give me anyway. That's just the structure for old and cold leads. Now let's talk about FSBO's expireds, right? These are some more advanced structures here. I know who you are. Here's who I am. Here's a simple distraction question that hides my intent, but aligns with what you want. So you're most likely to answer me. This format is when you call them up. Like for instance, with a FSBO, you call up and say, hey, wanted to see if you're offering a buyer's agent commission, even though you want to talk to them about potentially listing it. That's the question that distracts them. Here's a different one. I know, and this is for a more competitive market. I know who you are. Here's who I am. This is the likely objection you have and why they don't apply to me, right? So in a more competitive market, when you call FSBOs and they're like, you're the 20th phone call today, right? Hey, you're probably getting a ton of phone calls from listing agents. I'm not calling to list your house. This is why I'm calling you. Here's what I'd like to offer you. Here's why you should take it. That one works really well in competitive markets. Any outbound. So this can apply to any kind of outbound, and I have a specific use case for this. This is a little more complex. It's an advanced structure. Here's who I am. Here's a story. Here's where you fit in. Here's some third-party validation for what I'm saying. Here's an implied reason you should go along with helping me. Here's a simple question you can answer without committing to anything or violating any rules. So in the masterclass, I tell a story about having to create and adopt this script to be able to find out whether a pharmacy had my daughter's ADHD meds or not, where they were already trained not to answer that question when people call for it. I came up with this and have like a 95% win rate on using this intro when I'm talking to pharmacies. Okay, so these are introductions. This is how they work. This is how things go wrong. And here's how you can structure your own intros for yourself. That's great, Dale. But what do I say when they reject me after that amazing intro? Well, come to my next unscripted masterclass and I'll teach you. Or maybe you're thinking, hey, Dale, the intros are great, but I can't get these leads to answer the phone or answer my texts and emails. How do I get them to respond? My answer is come to my next unscripted masterclass and I'll teach you. All right, everybody. What's one takeaway you got from today's training? Something you're going to implement, something you learned? Chat it in for me. You guys haven't been very active in the chat. What's a takeaway? What's something you learned, something you can implement? Are you guys all off multitasking, checking the MLS, sending emails, making sandwiches, or are you still here with me? Be more direct. Good, Kevin. What else? What's the takeaway, guys? I just did an hour's worth of talking. If you got nothing from it, then I'm going to go get a job at Target. Eliminate the fluff. Just start the convo with the lead name. Yes. Don't ask stupid opening questions. That's great. Oh, thanks, Alice. Alice, you win. Alice wins the comment war. All right, so I want to tell you guys something. Get to the point. I think I mentioned the masterclass. I'm going to drop it in the chat here. Our next masterclass is April 7th and 8th. And here's what I would say about the masterclass. When you come to it, I'm going to help you rewrite your own personal scripting. Whatever you're saying to these leads that you have that's not working for you, that's not getting them to respond when you write the messages, that's not keeping them on the phone when you actually talk to them, that's not overcoming their objections, that's not getting them to tell you what their story is, that's not getting them to agree to meet with you, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix it in the masterclass. It is dirt cheap for the amount of training and the education that you're going to get. Go to the link, sign up for the next unscripted masterclass so that I can help you. If you're not getting the results that you want, you can no longer complain because you know how to get it fixed, which is come to my masterclass, learn how to talk better, learn how to say things better, because my money is on the fact that you probably have never had really good professional sales training. So who could expect you to be good if you've never been professionally trained? Let me professionally train you so that you can actually get a different outcome. Do you want to sell more houses? Yes or no? Do you want to make more money? Yes or no? Do you want to learn from a guy who has sold countless number of homes himself, who has built and run top 5 KW mega teams, and who's been a trainer to and a script writer for the mega teams closing thousands of transactions right now in the US and Canada? Come to me on the masterclass. I'm going to help you, and it doesn't matter whether you're in Canada or the US, okay? I can't pitch you any harder than that. Show up and do it. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next masterclass, April 7th and 8th.